Blessings, blessings, blessings. Like, tag, share. Have someone else come on and join the conversation with us tonight as we continue our discussion on matters of the heart. We will have guests with us tonight. My bestie will be talking to you all tonight. And we are going to continue this conversation as we share with one another how we've been affected by the matters of the heart, whether it be spiritually, naturally, of course, as is our custom on Wednesday nights. We try not to shove Jesus down your throat, but we also remind you that we are apostles. So it's kind of like, you know, obvious that eventually at some point during the conversation, we will allow you to know that we believe prayer answers all things. Might not come when we want it, but prayer does answer. And so we thank you for joining in with us on tonight. One of our guests will be Prophetess Iyaniah, our returning guest, Elder Tnasia. I'm not sure if my daughter's coming back on, but I do know that my bestie is. And so we're excited about what you have to say. Helping people understand that they are not in this alone. Like, they're not the only ones suffering through these things. Um, and from both sides of the fence, because that's where I stand, both sides of the fence. Matters of the heart have affected me spiritually in a very deep, painful way, but God has allowed us to become free and delivered from it. But now we can talk about it without anger and without frustration, but we can allow you to use that as a lesson to avoid, not everything that happens to you is meant to hurt you. Most of it is meant to help you. As God foreknew us, He knew this day would come. And so He gave us what we would need to make it to this point. And so thank you to those of you who shared with us on last week, the leaders that came on and started adding and allowing us to know that all was well and that this was something that needed to be discussed. And it is, because there's a lot of miserable people sitting in church because they don't know how to address the matters of the heart. Some of our guests are here tonight. That's Prophetess Iyaniah and Elder Tnasia. Say hello to the peoples.
Hi.
We're gonna be talking to Tnasia sideways. I see.
Set it up.
Let me sit up.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something?
You can see me upside up now.
You look like you're upright at this time, daughter. And so I was just sharing, with those who had come in, people jump in and they jump back off, but they're still listening. And so, we allow them to know that, that's all right too. However you need to get it, our desire is that you would allow yourself to be delivered and set free, because you're not over anything until you've reached total deliverance from it. And so matters of the heart, it is very difficult, and you might disagree, either of you can chime in. It is very difficult to get over a broken heart, especially, and so let me put a sidebar right there. Most people be like, oh, well, it's their loss, da, 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 da. But the fact of the matter is, it couldn't get a reaction out of you if it didn't mean anything to you. You can't say that you don't love me, but everything I do is making you mad. Something inside of you still has an attachment to me. And if it didn't bother you, I tell people in a minute, you could be falling out on the street. Guess who would walk right over you and have done it? Me. That's how you know you don't like or care. I don't use the word hate. That's very strong. And I refuse to go to hell. Blessings. Blessings, Pastor Shanae. How are you? And so, when you can see somebody falling out on the street and you want to help them, there is something left there for you. If you're over that person, I'm telling you, nothing they say or do would make you have any other kind of reaction except to keep moving. Keep moving, because there are some things and some people that do what they do just to get a reaction. They're not going to do anything with it. And I share this with my bestie sometimes, and she's finding it to be true. Just next time they say something, don't respond. And when she found out that she didn't respond, oh yeah. That's what I thought. So all is well. I am doing much better, Pastor Shanae. All is not great, but we are well and we're grateful. Thank you for asking. Um, so last week we had a powerful discussion. Wish you could have been on, um, especially with Dr. Mel. So it was nice to have you guys. So we have with us Prophetess Iyaniah and Elder Tnasia, who are both on screen with us tonight. Um, and you are free to ask them questions. There are some questions that my bestie has prepared to ask. And so who
Lord
knows?
God.
Because I'm telling you, got to reach way down.
All
Amen.
the
And
way
so
down.
Jesus will pick you up. And so just um, like I said on the over the last couple of weeks, I was well into my 30s before I realized that I really had some issues going on with my heart, wherein I thought that I was over it. The reason why I was over it was because nothing else happened in my life that triggered that thought. You understand what I'm saying? When you feel like, when you get out of any type of relationship, you kind of feel like, we good. We going on 2 years done
Right.
gone by. Nothing has happened. But oh boy, they walk into the service and you realize I wasn't over that. And so
We
how do
baby Jesus.
we deal with it? Because how do you say that you're over something yet it has a response deep down within? So what would you guys say to that? That's a question.
Um,
That's a
I want to
question.
I want to say that you will fully be over it. Can you forgive? Yes. But it takes time to get over something, and it takes time to heal from something. But you have to be willing and open to fully accept the healing.
Okay. Okay. So that goes with forgiveness, but we want to know, how do you know when you're over it? See, because when you deal
When
with
it
it from
don't take the
forgiveness,
same reaction.
yes, because when you're dealing with forgiveness, I could see you say I love you and mean it, like really mean it. But guess who won't be eating dinner at my house? You,
Hello.
But I did forgive you, and I am able to move past it. But what if you and I parted our ways? It doesn't always have to be negative either, but we parted our ways, and you thought you were over the hurt that came from that friendship, that relationship, until you see it again and you realize it's still there. I never got resolved to it. Um,
You'll know it's still there if you can't when you see the person and you can't speak or you can't say hello and it still bothers you, or you feel angered, or you still feel bothered, or you still
I
feel
was waiting for you to attach some emotion to that.
the resentment.
Yeah, because it's a real thing. When you're talking about the heart, you're talking about the core of a thing. The definition that the Oxford Dictionary gave me was the heart is a hollow muscular organ that pumps the blood through the circulatory system by rhythmic contraction and dilation. It also says that it is the central or the innermost part of something. You know how people are talking to you, and you be like, yeah. Get to the meat. They want you to get to the core of the thing. They want you to get to the heart of the matter. I get all that other stuff you saying, but take me to how this got started. Take me to why I'm where I am today. What had happened? You understand what I'm saying? So I listen now for your response.
Oh, that was a
As
question.
opposed to just looking at me.
Oh, that was a question.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
that was a question. You can answer
It
that
was a
question. I answered the
statement
last
that
question.
requires a response,
What was the
a
statement again? I'm
reaction.
sorry.
I am not going to say all that all over again. You know how long it took me to describe that? gave you I gave you the dictionary, the Oxford dictionary, because I love their definitions.
Right.
But I've given you the definition of the heart
Right.
via the Oxford dictionary. And then it says ways to know if somebody is good hearted. And I can't find out if you're good hearted until I learn you or study you, observe you,
Or
you know.
interview you.
Um, yeah, because just because I smile at you does not mean, it just does not mean. I've learned that smiling can get you in trouble
It can.
because it could lead people falsely.
Mm.
Um, I can't say that there's been too many um, areas of my life that I have not become transparent with, to the fact that one of my somebody that used to cover me said that I'm too transparent. I don't know how you could be too transparent, because in this day and age, in the society that we're living in, with the young people that we're living with, they're not trying to hear that just because you said things like we grew up in. They want to know if you've been there, done that. Like, what's the real
Right.
deal? Like, how can you really tell me what? And in our years, simply because the word said so. That was our, that's how they responded to us. And we didn't get to question like you guys get now. If it was said, it was said, it was done, and there is no reason why you should question it, because that's what I said. That's the era we came up in. But in the era we're in now, where no answer seems to just be satisfactory.
Right.
What I
We,
could take from that is like if you're like trying to these dogs, Lord Jesus, take you, please.
they all right.
Okay. If you're I can't concentrate.
And
If you if you're like if you're just trying to like gossip about certain people, or if you're just trying to like throw certain things at me like without no word or without any like take please, please.
you can't handle, go. Hey, Apostle Garvey.
Um so what I was saying was the way people I know people are real, or the way that I know people or um have real expectations. If I can connect to you through, like, say if you're preaching a word, if you have word, like if you're preaching to me but you have no word to back it up, or you have no scripture to back it up, or no meaning behind your word, how can you preach to me with no expectation behind it?
With no expectation, and that's a good thing. I like that. No expectation behind it. Why talk to me for nothing?
Right.
That's a waste of my time. That's just a waste of my time. And more times than not, I'm gonna say it to you. You understand? Not in a disrespectful way, because I think where we go wrong sometime with this generation is we make them feel like it's okay to tell somebody if they're wrong, no matter where you are. That's not integrity. That's not character. You don't have to publicly embarrass someone to get your point across. I waited a whole service. That was the longest service ever. Oh, only before the end of the service, there were those that were with me to it, that experienced what I was talking about. I never told the person, "Oh, you a lie." I just stood there quiet and I put my head down almost till they finished. Woo, Savior. And then after
Like
I had to stand up there in the middle of the aisle through that, and then wait for the rest of the service before I could,
like, are you done
go
yet?
back, knock, knock, knock. Can I talk to you for a minute? You gave me a word that I don't understand. Hey, putting a word that I don't understand, and I need to know uh, where you where you're coming from with that, because that's not where I am in the season of my life. And then when you start saying to me, well, what I meant was, I'm already done. I'm
Right.
already done, because you said what you said in public.
Right.
I'm in private right now, so they'll never know that you apologize, that you ain't know what you was talking about. You understand?
Right.
So um, it takes growth and maturity to be able to do that. Now, for you to say even what you said, why preach to me and have no expectations behind it? Because, well, I'm not going to put everybody in there. Sometimes,
Yeah.
when people are ministering the word, even if it be prophetic, some of them do not have discernment enough to understand that that's God talking to them and not the people.
Right.
Right.
You know, and it is, bless you, woman of God, it is happening more often than not, unfortunately. Um, but people say, what does that have to do with the heart? It has a lot to do with the heart, because there's a lot of emotion that goes into the fact that I'm hurt by what you said. I didn't understand what you said. You was talking
Right.
over my head. Whatever, you know, you lost me. You never brought us back. You did a sidebar and never came back. You know, um, and so you're confused. One, you're unsure if it's you or the preacher that's off.
Wow.
Yeah, real talk. Because just because it seems like it's a roundabout to you does not mean that they don't know what they're talking about, because there's more than you in the service.
Right.
And the preacher has a duty to take care of the land, which is to survey the land and make sure some of that word hits everybody. They'll all have different responses, but we have a duty to make sure that what we're preaching and saying that is of God is able to be related to by the people in there. God's not sending you somewhere and then going to tell you to go left and everybody sitting to the right. But you have to learn how to, um, will take some years. But you have to learn that even when you're doing a sidebar, how to bring it back into where you were. Because
Right.
Jesus, even though he ministered, and I say this all the time, he had the disciples that they walked with this man every day. And when it all boiled down, they still didn't know who he was. Only one of the 12. Bible only mentions one of the 12 that was able to tell Jesus who he was. So imagine a pastor who's had a church for 10, I'll give him 5 years. And these people have been with you for 5 years. And then when somebody asks you about your leader, you don't know what to say. Matters of the heart. Put that back into the heart. Well, because now you don't know what to say about your leader, which causes the people that came and asked you about your leader to feel some way about you,
Right.
going to a church and not knowing who you're following. And it starts to mess with your mental, which is still offset by the heart, because whatever you're dealing with mentally, the heart is responding to what's happening, whether it be rage, whether it be abandonment, whether it be loneliness, whether, all of that. The heart is a part of that, but so are your other organs. And this is why I talk about matters of the heart, because your heart is not the only thing that's messed up when something's going wrong. And so now I'm going to bring back out, like, so far we've been dealing with everything in the church. I'm talking about both sides. I like both sides of the street. When Jesus was talking and it looked as though the people didn't understand, what did he do? He told a parable. So he told a parable so that he wouldn't necessarily have to say what was wrong with them, but that parable would help them to understand, oh, wow. You know, and so when people say, oh, but this person didn't even stay on the subject, it depends on what you thought the subject was. The reason why Jesus stopped and gave a parable was because he realized that everybody didn't understand. So to give me a word and you giving me all this Bible and I still don't know what you're talking about, especially if it's King James, I still don't know what you're talking about. I've left church feeling like, what was the purpose? So now the heart starts to deal with that emotion. What did I come for? I feel worse than I did before I came. Now I'm going back home to something that's even worse.
Right.
So where's my peace? Where's my sanity? when I go and relive what was preached, what am I marinating on? Because I didn't understand anything. I didn't feel like anything they were saying was relatable. And it really is possible. There are people who feel like that. Trust me.
Right. To stop you right there.
Uh
It
huh.
was it was not to say nobody name because
Please
they gonna
don't.
know what I'm talking about.
Uh huh.
Um, but when somebody was prophesying to me, and they didn't even ask to prophesy to me. It was like, just can I hug you? I'm like, yeah, you can hug me. They started prophesying to me, and I'm like, but this stuff doesn't even relate to where I'm at. I'm not going through depression. I'm not going through none of the stuff that you're talking about right now. And you just trying to be deep, trying to put me on the floor and all this stuff going on. And then you had grabbed my hand and you started rubbing my hand because I started to get very upset. And then when you grabbed my hand, it just was like, it pulled me back down, like pulled me back to myself and helped me to calm down and pull me back to myself because I started to feel, very devastated because I'm like, what is she trying to say to me right now? Because what you're saying is not where I'm at. So your prophecy was off. So it was like when your leader is standing right there to help you and to comfort you, it's like what they're saying doesn't make sense. Correct.
Okay. So you saying it doesn't make sense. Now, I can go to two sides of the street. Okay.
Mhm.
First of all, most prophetic words are not for the right now.
Okay.
And if you had to relive that prophecy right now, would it be on point?
All right now, yes, but she
Yeah,
said
I'm
that
saying
person
prophetic
that
is
person said right
futuristic.
now. And that moment I wasn't dealing with that right now.
Okay.
And it was like, you need to get over that. You need to get over this person. You need to get over that person. But I wasn't dealing with what you was saying.
Now, could it be, because I like to play devil's advocate, could it be that while some of it may not have been on point, other parts of it were, but because the offense was already taken, because you felt like they were speaking something that wasn't true, you weren't able to hear the rest in your ear the way it should have come in?
Yes.
It's possible, right? I'm not
Yes.
saying that that's the case. I'm saying it's possible. I had to learn to think like this, trust me. Because in my days, if I was done, I was done. There's no need for conversation. You was off.
Mm.
I already let you go with it. So how about we leave it right there? You know.
Right. And I was like,
Um,
that's why I don't like people
but
praying for
that
me and
but
touching me
that's
and
technically that wasn't the proper way to deal with that because I made it a matter of the heart. I made it a matter of the heart. Why did I make it a matter, or how did I make it a matter of the heart? Because I took offense. I took offense, and because I took offense, there was nothing left in me that was open to receive.
right.
So I very much could have lost a very vital part of something that I allowed temporarily to put me out of place.
Okay.
Okay. Not
Yeah.
saying that what you felt or what you're feeling right now and the ability to, I love the ability to be able to express it now because that's a lot for you. Um, to be able to see what happened and what could have been and what didn't.
Okay.
There are those who um, don't consider the heart to be, yes, daughter. She says, is that the same link from last week? I pray, yes. Try it. I did email you. Um, where were we? Oh, being able to receive. Um, when our heart gets involved, we become very emotional. We become very subdued, you know. As Apostle is, y'all can't hear my bestie over there, but she
Not
said,
there.
you heard her? You shut
Yes.
down. So if you shut down, which is what I said, the other side of what I said, then
Yes.
where are you open to receive what God really wants to say?
You can't.
That's the trick of the enemy now, because he loves
Mhm.
distraction. And if he can make you stop and think for a moment, and what really helped you to get past that? I'll say that. What really helped you to get past that? Because you had to go through some things in order for you to say what you're saying the way you're saying it tonight.
Um, I just remembered your comfort while you was standing there and while you was
Oh,
helping me to
even in
get
the
through
doctor's office, look at you. Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I just kept remembering your comfort and you standing there helping me through it, and remembering the rest of the service and not just that moment.
that's right. Now that's all I come to do is rub you and let you know, not now. Because I can
Yeah.
see, people who really survey the land can see when things are changing. They can see and even feel the mood um, of the people that are in the service with you. Sometimes everybody's in the building, but the service was only for one person.
All right.
But do we have the maturity that we could believe that, hey, this was an awesome service, but I'm glad that person got their breakthrough? No, because you mad because you ain't get yours. Technically,
Right.
the reason you didn't get yours is because you was too stuck on the fact that they were getting theirs. When the Bible
Right.
tells us to rejoice with them that do rejoice and mourn with them that mourn. So if we're in there where everybody uses, if two or three are gathered in my name, that's the familiar thing, but if we can ever get to the place of with one accord and not on one accord, if we could get to the place where, what, I'm not feeling this today, but I'm just going to give it to the end of service. I'm not going to, be defeated right here because I'm not feeling it the same time. Because sometimes it look like you be the only one in the church sitting still and everybody else jumping. You be like, how come out? Like, am I off? It's like, and sometimes the answer is yes to that. And then other times it's just that you have not allowed yourself to be open enough. There are people that throw parties in clubs that I've gone to, and it took people to them saying, this is the last dance for somebody to get on the floor, because they realize if they don't dance now, they done wasted a whole night talking to a wall. That's why they called you a flower.
Not a fly.
Just started melting right into the wall, not allowing yourself to enjoy what was happening around you. Um, Tnasia, she's having a hard time getting on. I don't remember what you do to help her
Oh,
get on.
hold on. I got you.
Um, Matters of the heart. I keep trying to come out of church and y'all keep taking me back in church.
Sorry. Sorry.
No, don't be apologetic, because it's about you. This is why we're here. It is about how others see the world that you're in. You know, okay. If you, as Prophetess Iyaniah, went to Church ABC and they don't really know about you except for what people have said,
Right.
so you've already been shot down before service time.
Right.
Your heart can't even feel nothing, because, oh, they invited her. Like, oh my God, didn't they know that? Da, 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 da. You don't even know, boo. You want on what somebody else said.
Right. Not
But
even the truth.
the fact of the matter is, that's what they know about the name that's getting ready to talk to them. So there's a part of them that shuts down automatically. Soon as they could be having a wonderful, blessings, Pastor Ayers, they could be having a wonderful time in church. You stand up to preach, and I declare before God, look like somebody just drained the well. And everybody's just looking at you and you struggling, and because you got to ask God for a face of flint, because people will make you feel like you ain't doing nothing, and you up there sweating, looking for a rag, hoping somebody gonna give you some water. And yeah, they
They
like,
making you thirst.
right, and they like, no, we're just ready for you to sit down. So where would your heart be right there? I said all of that to ask that. Your heart, matters of your heart, where would you be? Truthfully. Not what you think I want to hear, not what you think the people want to hear.
I
Where would
wouldn't
you
know in time in that moment.
you don't really
Truthfully,
you don't think you could think of an instance where that happened already?
well, I was in a matter of disappointment. Um, because they labeled me before they even knew the true story.
Correct. How would you manage to keep preaching?
See beyond the faces.
See beyond the faces and ask God to
Help me to continue on and
guard your
to
heart.
preach his people. Yeah.
Ask God to help guard your heart. Um, if you, I don't. That's why I don't understand why people run to ministry, because you got to have a hard heart, like a tough heart. When I say
Mm-mm.
hard, I mean a tough heart, not a cold heart. A tough, like, eeh, my my trial sermon. I cried. I sat down. My uncle made me get right back up too. It says I'm in back. Says you're backstage. I don't see you at all.
Oh Lord. I tried to get us to the link.
Can I just hit share my referral link? That's what Pinky's saying. She said it says that she's backstage, and I don't see her face or anything. Let's see if I can invite
Let
you.
me see. Wait.
Invite. I'm sending me back. I'm gonna send her another email and see what happens. Excuse me, guys. Sorry for the interruption. Station identification. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna send it to her again. See if that'll help. Alrighty. So, um, I don't know. Uh, Pastor Ayers or Sister Elaine, if you're still there, um, what kind of advice would you give someone who um, has been hurt or disappointed to the point where they don't want to be bothered? So we're dealing with that heart. What would you say? Like, how could you encourage them? What is it that you think would even want them to want to feel again? Like some people, I tell people all the time who say that they've been hurt and they're disappointed, they've been devastated. But if you're searching, even though you should be being found, but if love is what you want, unless you're willing to keep putting your heart out there, hurt after hurt, disappointment after disappointment, devastation after devastation, at the end of the day,
I'm in
until you
devastation
put
mode.
your heart back there, how will you know if you could ever love again if you never allow your heart to find out?
That's a question for me.
Period.
Go
Mm-hmm.
ahead, answer that, Tika.
Um,
I've been answering all the questions.
Now you have. I'll give you that. Thank you.
Okay.
Elder, I'm waiting. Elder's teaching 101.
I am one that when I was disappointed, devastated, and didn't want to be bothered, I found myself wallowing in my depression. I was wallowing in darkness. And for a long while now, like I found myself um not really wanting to be in a relationship, but wanting to be in a relationship at the same time. And it's kind of like an in and out thing with me. Because I haven't opened up my heart in a while. So I will say to somebody who has been disappointed, hurt, and unbothered, um, I would say give yourself that time to heal. Um, and even though you don't want to be bothered, I would say like find somebody to talk to. because sometimes, like, when you don't put yourself out there, you find yourself being in a closed space and in a dark place, and it keeps you in a place where your heart is clogged. This is how I
Mhm.
experienced
Go.
it.
Doing
Your
good. Go.
heart is clogged. You're in an unhealed place. You can't put yourself out there, and I've been there. I have been there, and it is not an easy place at all. It took me at least about 5 years to try to come out of that place and try to find love again.
Well, it's not your job to find love. Love's supposed to find you.
Right.
But would you be able to say to someone you were talking to right now that you are delivered and free from that?
I will say that I'm not always delivered and free. I'll be honest. Because I still suffer with being lonely, and I still have things that I struggle with or suffer with as well. So I would say that it takes time.
It does. It takes time. It took a lot for you to say that that's, something that you're still dealing with because the people that we sit next to in church, they smiling and they getting into the service and yet their heart is all jacked up, you know. And they kind of like you sitting there and you're talking to them and you feel like you making progress because they smiling and they participating in the
Right.
conversation all the while saying, yeah, I'm listening but I don't hear you, because there is a difference. um and um a lot of us, and I'm talking about male and female, a lot of us, because we get impatient, um, or we're the anger that we have is no longer at who it should be at. It's you're just angry now because you're not with somebody or you watching everybody else, be happy. I said, did I say it last
It's
year?
a hard
I was
place.
like, here I am marrying all these people, but a regard,
That's a
and
hard
then
place.
the other side of me says, girl, you've been doing this so long, you ain't no sense in even trying. So I have my own things that I battle with because do I want marriage? I love, absolutely love marriage. I was married for 10 years. Mine did not work. I didn't ask God if it was supposed to be. I just went with it. I was just glad, to be married, but I was not ready for marriage. And it helped me to help those that I counsel even more now. You're so excited. Your heart is overjoyed. You, oh my God, I'm getting married. You say married? Oh man, say married. And
Yeah, that's what I
can't
thought.
wait till we get to this bridal shower and all of this stuff that comes along with getting married.
I thought,
But
honey.
what we ought to be preparing for is getting into marriage. After all of the celebration is gone, after all of the people that ate your food and your money, and just, and now comes the real deal.
Right.
We got through the altar, but now what? Because there, until you, and it goes back to what we were saying in the beginning, until you find yourself having to deal with a situation you thought you were over, you'll never know that you aren't over. It's easy for you to say, oh, I'm over that because nothing's happening right now. Oh, 2 3 years down the line, nothing still happens, so I'm over it, da, da, da. And then boom, something similar show up. There she is, she figured it out. Look at
I
her.
can agree
So proud of
because
you.
for the
Proud of
past
you.
Yeah.
Miss
2 years I've been in a despair.
thing says Pinky has entered the room.
Good.
Hey, Sling. Where have
Hey,
Hey,
you
Poppy.
been?
So we're back, daughter, at that part where we are. Is that a shirt with you and your bestie on?
guys.
That she,
Ew. Say nah.
she got her bestie on today.
Not ill.
Um,
It's okay. I got my bestie on our shirt too. So you see it?
Mm-mm.
no, no, Jesus, no. Um, but we were talking about uh being in a place where you think you're over something until it shows up. It's easy for you to say, "Oh, I'm over that," "Oh, I'm done with that." Never again. Da 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 da. You don't see that person for 3, 4 years, 5 years come along, and boom, that person walk in the room and everything just flares up. What do you do with that matter of the heart? What do you do at that point with that matter of the heart? What would bring your emotions under subjection at that point? Um, um, because you really thought you was over it, and oh my god, oh my god.
Oh my God. Um, that would, I think that would test to see if you're really over it or not by your response and your reaction. Um, Something similar like that to me happened. I don't.
Oh,
It wasn't years though, but when the
sister scared me.
situation appeared to itself, I actually did kind of better than I thought I was going to do.
Okay.
Anticipating, and you never know how you're gonna respond because, like people say, you forgive but you never forget, and especially with us women, we don't forget nothing. We
The
don't forget
mind of an
anything.
elephant.
The smallest offense. I can't remember what I had last week, but I could tell you everything you did to me and how it made me feel.
Mm-mm.
Um, but again, I guess it depends on, everybody is different. Everybody level of maturity is different. How you respond versus how you react, and then is really based on like how much you gave to God. Did you really give it to God, or did you give it to him for that moment, or
Right.
did you give it to him so that you can really move on and heal and be free?
I tell people that first of all, you have to learn the difference between reacting and responding. Secondly, when something like that comes and you get that flood of emotions, it is important that you don't do something temporarily stupid that could cause permanent damage. And
Right.
so, when we're dealing with the matters of the heart, and you want me to just be all right with the fact that you keep hurting me, um,
Mm-mm.
I heard that grunt. But when it is that, because people will remind you that you're a Christian at that point.
I'm about to say we
And I
also have
mean,
a
won't they?
responsibility.
Won't they will?
They
Right.
never recognize Jesus in your life until you're doing something that's going to put them in check, or going to let them know, hey, enough is enough. Now I'm not a Christian because I'm getting upset with you. Boo. This the good side.
Right.
I
Because
mean
when
the
you're
good
dealing with
one.
matters of the heart, depending on whether your heart has been made whole, um, will determine how you respond to those things. A lot of people, like I said, people think that they're over it because they've never had to deal with it again since then. But when it shows up, what am
Right.
I going to do? What am I going to do with my heart? That's the matters of my heart. Hey, Daniela, the matters of
I would
the
say,
heart.
huh? Yeah. But I was saying that you also have a responsibility as well to as a how you respond or react to a person. It's not just solely what they do to you, is how you respond or react to them as well, because that person is a human too. That person is a soul too.
And people
That's
gonna
what
say what they want about this because I'm gonna bring this up. But people still got their story about whatever they're gonna want to have their story about.
Yes, they
But I was when I was assaulted, people may know. I was going through therapy and I'm still going through therapy, and now I used to hate their guts, but now I could go and see them and be like hello and keep it moving, and I don't have to hate them anymore. I could just keep it on speak, keep it moving, and not be bothered by it anymore. I could let people keep on talking, and I don't gotta vindicate myself no more because it's the what's done in the dark is gonna always come to the light.
And that's a good sign of maturity. Again, you never know how mature you are until you walk in the face of that thing that did it. That thing that did it. The thing that did it. You
Right.
know. um,
They gonna always be around. You gotta deal with it. So it's like, what do you do?
Matters of the heart. You said you had some questions. Matters of the heart. So
Twin, you
some,
is glowing, honey.
huh?
Twin is glowing.
Vaseline.
Actually.
Definitely. So, we were talking about the fact that the heart, as well as other organs in your body, really are affected by your thoughts. Um, Again, I said I was trying because so far we've been church, church, church. I've been trying to. The more I try to stay natural, the more y'all pull me in to the church.
Mhm.
But
Sorry, sorry, sorry.
That's all we know.
but it's like the reason why I try, especially with this particular topic, the reason why I try to make sure we're on both sides of the fence is because it's a reality of both sides of the fence. You understand? Some things that have happened to you before you really came to know God. Going to church and knowing God is two different things. So there was some things that happened to the heart before you got to know God. And now here you are on this side because you done gave your life to Christ. And if it was like me and they told you everything was going to be all right, I didn't understand why everything went wrong. Um, and it left, at one point, it left me at a place of an abandonment because I felt like I was, need to be politically correct. I felt like I felt like I had been dropped and nobody came back to see if anything happened.
Right,
And so you go on in life with that. So now I'm carrying that because it hasn't been dealt with. Nobody's brought it up. Nobody seemed to think that anything was wrong with the fact that that I fell or even acknowledge that a drop even took place.
Right.
right,
And so you go on in life because you remove yourself from that circle and you go on in life and you haven't seen them, you haven't had to run in with them. With as much as we church, we still ain't come together and had to see each other, in church. And then boom, that one time happens. You have a fellowship, your church is fellowshipping with another one for the first time, and guess who walked in the door? The thing that dropped me, the
That's
thing that
it.
abandoned me, the thing that devastated me. And
mm-hmm.
until that day, I really thought I was over it because nothing triggered what happened. But it wasn't until seeing that person enter the room that I realized, hey, your heart's still jacked up,
Right,
And so how can I, truthfully um, encourage somebody to get by or to get over that or to learn how to look at it from a different point of view, um, if I just now realize I ain't even do that. You know what I'm saying? And the matters of the heart will have you kill somebody. That's
mm-hmm.
fact. Matters of the heart will make you kill somebody. And you're just not aware of the magnitude of detriment that had happened. You understand what I'm saying? Because for you to feel like, that happened to me years ago and I'm good, and then that person walked
Mm-mm.
in out of nowhere, and oh my God, the floodgates start running open, and you in church, and especially if you leadership, any type of
Lord.
leadership, you ain't got to be the apostle. Any person in leadership who is supposed to have a different level of integrity and character, and that thing walked through the door, Jesus be my co-pilot.
And I mean,
Co-pilot.
And that's what I was saying about sometimes we say we're over stuff, but that's because we haven't had to deal with it anymore. But what happens when it comes up and you have to deal with it now because of who you are?
Hello, everyone.
It's my
Um,
bestie.
um,
Um,
so it is 10 o'clock, and I'm just coming on because I'm just finishing up somebody's head. The
All
person
right.
in the shirt, praise the Lord.
She wearing her bestie. She is. She got on her bestie shirt.
But I had three questions that I wanted to ask last week, and I had some things to do, and I still got to do tonight
I
before.
wasn't here last week.
First question that I wanted to ask is, what does love look like to you now after everything that you have been through with the matters of your heart?
Ask
What
that question.
does love look like to you now after everything that you have been through with the matters of the heart? So, some of us talked about breakups last week. Today, I heard us talk about forgiveness and moving forward and learning how to love again. So, what does that look like to you? What does love look like to you? And any one of you can go answer that question. Or are you still trying to figure out what love
My
looks like?
Lord.
Um, I could say because I just got out of an engagement and it was horrible. So I would just say, not settling for less. Cause right now, well, I want to say right now, well, I can say that.
Oh.
Um, dealing with abandonment, you deal with trying to settle. So not settling for less than what you're worth. Um, knowing what you're worth, knowing how to first love yourself before loving anybody else.
Okay.
Um, f- not being in toxicity, like in a
Yeah.
toxic environment. Um,
Mm.
knowing
Hey, baby
knowing
face.
knowing how to tell somebody how to love you correctly. Knowing how to tell somebody how to treat you correctly if they don't know how. Because maybe somebody wasn't taught the correct way. Bef- Um, that's just what I got right now.
Babyface, you dropping those nuggets because you be dropping them.
um, toxicity. Toxicity and matters of the heart. People are in toxic relationships, and it is because of what they saw growing up as the definition of love. Some people don't know that not getting your head knocked off, you know, is not love because that's all they saw, in the relationship surrounding them. Everything was physical, verbal. Verbal will hurt you more than physical any
me
day,
too. Woo.
you know, because if you don't know how to walk through that, all you do is walk with it. And
Hmm.
toxicity is painful. Um, I was trying to think of something else you said after you said toxicity. I should have said something when you said
Know
it.
how to be loved correctly.
That part, unspoken expectations.
Talk about that in my book too.
How does somebody love you and you haven't figured out how to love you?
Know how to love yourself first.
Exactly, but now it's you're trying to learn yourself while you expected somebody else to love you in the process. You're talking about matters of the heart because now the other person is like, "What I do now?" And they don't
Hmm.
even know that they did anything, but it's because it was a trigger. Make sense? Makes sense.
Yes, I'm waiting on a
That's
sister.
why it didn't last. I waited. I was talking to somebody for 7 years, and I thought because we was talking for 7 years, getting to know each other, I thought it was like, yeah, this is it. And then, yeah,
Yeah, it's called an assignment.
Do Assistant Pastor Walter have something to say on that? If not, I'll give my next question. Do either one of you guys want to have something to say?
Um, for me, I would say love now looks like. Respect. Love looks like love not with just your actions, but with words and not be one sided. Um,
Nay, nay, nay. Push that ear off.
love looks like
Oh, I want you to hurt me.
uplifting
Mm.
and not downplaying.
Maybe it's over. Maybe it's over.
Love looks like not one sided, but seeing the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
Love doesn't look manipulating. I got a whole list,
No,
but
it
Ah,
sounds
it
like it.
sounds like it.
This
That's
Sounds
don't
why
like
count. Twin was
it.
married. This don't count.
manipulation. Before we go to Elder
I got
Tika,
this.
go ahead.
Um, I think that's the most focal points for me. I
That's
don't
the
know
word
if that
I
made
was
sense,
looking for.
but I try to say it like how it made sense to me.
Manipulation was the word I was looking for because a lot of times we try to manipulate people into loving us. You can't manipulate me to make me love you. Just let me love you and stop trying to manipulate me and do all these extra things to make me. But anyway, Elder Tika,
Hello. That's the one.
Elder Tika, do you
Shoot.
want to say
I'm
something?
doing this because where you at after I do this? Like what?
Yeah, that's what they do. Elder Tika, you have something before I ask my last question? I'm gonna save my next ones until next week.
Um,
She got something. Think,
love, love looks like being honest, being transparent.
Okay.
Love looks like considering each other's hearts, considering what each other's what you say to one another, um, in terms of like tone and um, love looks like encouragement or appreciation.
Okay.
So,
And to be honest with myself, I'm still trying to figure out what love looks like because my my looks on love have been, I want to say, deteriorated because of how much I was hurt through it.
no, that's right, y'all.
That's just my, my honest, me being transparent.
so for you to be able to say all of those things that love looks like, this is my devil. You know, I told you I'm gonna be a devil's advocate all night. And you were able to say what
I know where
love
it's
looks
going.
like with all of those words, then why is it that we find ourselves still settling? Why is it if I know what it's supposed to look like and I absolutely am sure that it is not what I'm looking at, why am I having a hard time leaving it alone?
That's for all of us.
Whoever, yeah, because she gave us a whole lot. They gave both of them gave uh assistant pastor gave what it ain't supposed to be. Elder said what it is, and then she said, but she's also, had issues
Well,
with
that's for y'all because I ain't
than
get the
what
right
she know.
definition.
Say what?
You gave
So
the
that's for them.
you
I ain't get the
gave the
right
right
definition.
definition. Stop it.
So if you know that that's what love looks like, and when you get with this particular person, every time y'all together, it is the opposite of what you're telling me love looks like. What's making you stay? Because by staying, are you settling or are you hiding? And when I say hiding, meaning the one that need to find you can't find you because you're still stuck with what's not supposed to be.
All of
I
those.
see what you're saying.
Her
I
sister
think
pastor said all of those.
I think a lot of
You
times we
oh
settle because we feel like nobody is going to love us for us. And
yes.
so we settle, our vulnerable selves make us settle, even though we know that this is not the person that we're supposed to be with because we don't want to be
Right.
alone. We settle and then we still pay later on down the road because we end up hurt because we settled. And we know
That
we shouldn't have settled. We should have waited. So we could have saved ourselves some heartache if we would have waited and not settled.
Let me read these comments from Pastor Shanae before I forget again. Her first one says, "You can't force people to love you the way you love if they're not ready for your type of love. You can't force people to love you the way you love if they're not ready for your type of love." That's a good statement. Um, then she said, "Love looks like self love first. Love looks like self love first." And we went through self care. We did a whole series on self care and was doing self care boxes with
right.
different things to love on yourself. But the main thing is that I love this that she said, that you can't force people to love you the way you love if they're not ready for your type of love. My piggyback off of that would be, but what if your type of love isn't love?
Mm.
What if your type of love isn't love? It's lower self esteem. It is a magnet for stupidity. And when I say that, meaning sometimes when we don't deal with what's wrong with us on the inside, then that's what's going to keep on being attractive to us.
I
What
remember
we,
you
what we,
saying,
mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
No, go.
I remember you saying we attract what we don't or who we don't heal from. And I've been living off that for a few years because I feel like my disparity and me looking for the love that I want, it put me in a place where if I try to go find this person or if they approach me and I attach to them, I feel like whatever I'm not healed from, I attach myself to that person, but they'll start but the relationship or the love that they display to me might look like what my past relationship showed me, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. But
You ever been around a person and it's like every relationship they get in, it's like they have similar traits. It's like, oh my God, now I know I'm not still with so and so and so, but it's because they attracted that same, what would you call it? Spirit,
Spirit, like I
same,
like minds,
like my, yeah,
No,
like
that's me, Lord.
all all of your men is the same. Like something is wrong. If they all
everybody
you
you attract
attract is
beating your brains out is you, boo.
yeah, like what's the
Oh
matter?
no,
She
that ain't me.
trying to say it as if no.
I was just trying to think
No,
of
no, no,
what.
no, no. If you keep on attracting them jokers that like to hit you, it's time to check you.
Not only that, them ones that always want to jump in the bed with you, or those that they can feel your
they
vulnerability. If that makes
can. I dealt with that a
they
lot.
know that you're vulnerable.
And so you can't I want to
Say it
say
like it is, Auntie. Say it like it is.
I'm trying not to offend, but I also want to be real. But listening to Elder T, um, she was saying that like when she go look or when she, when she finds herself, first of all, that's the error because we're supposed to be found.
Right.
And according to the word, we're supposed to be found working. And whether it be in ministry with the
Mm-mm.
things of the church or with things that we keep it. Paul says the single people are supposed to be found working in the ministry. That's word. And so there are a couple of times when the thing that I find always comes back at me is these people that's trying to get me to join these websites, you know,
I still
Christian
say
singles and
Tinder.
and all that stuff like that.
Come
That's
on, come on, Auntie. Go on Tinder, Auntie. Go on Tinder.
nope, because
Google
that's
Tender.
that's not you
That's why
being
I
found.
deleted.
Tinder.
That's why I
That's
deleted that
not
off my
you being
phone.
found. That is not you being found. It
You
is
could.
not
They could found
you
you.
being
They could
found.
found you.
That is you looking, and that is the reason why we get messed up, is because we put ourselves out there. First of all, half the people on Christian Mingling ain't saved.
Oh,
They're
I ain't
there
on cash. I ain't on Christian
because
Mingle.
you're
they
saying
mingling. That's what
they
they doing.
they making their way into the bedroom because they know that most people in Christian sites are desperate.
Now,
Sidebar, y'all. I ain't say I was on Tinder. I just said her go on
I'm
Tinder.
hung.
I don't know.
Sloppy.
Came out too easy. Came out too easy.
I
I'm an
wanted to say
advocate,
that's one of
like
the reasons why
Apostle,
I got off Facebook.
because I know some people that have real successful relationships off of these websites. We are around some, and I'm not gonna put their business
No, I
out there,
agree. I just think that
but
that's
I
not
just
being
think
found.
that you
Right.
Just
because they gotta match you. So when you put your
because I put all
information
my
out,
business out there.
yeah, then
I'm
they
not
You don't
find
being.
have to.
That's me entering. That's me introducing myself. So that's me. That's still me.
It's okay. I'm gonna put you on a speed date. Don't worry about
you.
Speed date.
Not a speed date.
That.
You are.
it. Blind dates,
Three
speed
minutes
dates,
each.
something.
If you can't catch my mind in 3 minutes,
I love that show. I love that show. My last question because it's 10:30.
I
Okay.
like
Just
the way she
past
keep
Well,
time. I didn't get
I
on
got
her
a
live.
question though. Hold on.
I
I
did
got a
not get on
question.
her
I'm
live
not
last
sick. My
night.
bestie is.
I did not
I
get on
got
her live
I
last
got
night.
him a
I
question.
saying, well, it's
She said
this
she has a
time and it's
question.
this time. I listened for my whole time with my bestie. I even encouraged while she
And
was
but
talking.
what's your time limit though? Because you start going
Oh, that was like 12 o'clock this afternoon.
now. What's your question?
Whose question?
Ayana said she had a question.
Yes.
Because stop whispering.
I ain't whisper.
Yes, you did.
She
Cause
actually did in that time.
this one here, ma, and this one here keep bothering me. So do you have to be with somebody that's in church, or can you be with somebody that's out of church?
Ooh, that's
Let
tricky.
assistant pastor answer that question.
Answer.
I know that's right.
I don't think she want
So,
nobody in church either.
the,
Clock
the
that T.
fact of the matter is, the scripture says,
Oh
how
God.
can two walk together except they agree? That is not just for marriage, that is for relationship, that is for friendship, that is for partnerships. Whatever your ship is,
Your situation ship, all
it's
of
a
it.
Ships.
ship. Whatever
All the
ship
ships.
you sailing on for the moment, the word says, how can you walk together except you agree? Now, why did I use that? It's because while there, and I could say like, I was going to say, Mom, Queen
That's fine.
says, Apostle says, no, we on this. Apostle
That's
says,
okay. We sisters tonight.
That's
believe it or not, there are people listening to y'all.
Girl.
Um, but if you're saved and they're not, where's the agreement?
Cause they could believe in God and they could still go to church and get saved.
No. Your question was
Hmm.
in and out. Do they have to be saved? Do they have to be?
Do they have to
That was
be
your
in church?
question, right?
Do they have to be in church? That was your
Like
question.
church, like apostles, bishops,
Oh,
First of
that's
all,
different.
ministers, elders.
we
That's
should.
different.
Why?
Cause she. So you're saying, do they have to have a title? That's
Do they,
different than
no,
they have.
already in church. Do they have to be in church? Already in church.
We should.
So you said apostle bishops for that's titles.
Cause they already in
I'm just, she's just
church.
trying to, give us the length of time we've been in church,
She's just trying to make up a reason.
and she's not going to get it from me. That's what I said. That's why I said, how can two walk together except they agree? So now, I'm coming directly for you right now. You ready? Don't hide from the camera now.
Okay, let's do it.
So you think I'm getting ready to go with girl boy? As you being my bearer of arms,
Oh
do I believe in piercings?
no.
Are you pierced?
Yes.
Are you still expecting to serve?
Yes.
How when we don't agree?
That's true.
That's the closest I could bring it to home. So with that same mentality, dude ain't even think about church. He telling you he gonna come with you to church because he want what you got, and he gonna say whatever he gonna say to make sure that you give him whatever he want to give him. Again, does not mean that there have not been successful stories, because there are. There are successful stories about a Muslim and a Christian having a
Yes.
long marriage.
My aunt and
That
my
takes a
uncle got
lot of
that.
agreeing, though. But that takes a lot of agreeing. So
It
if
does.
we're gonna talk about how can two walk together except they agree, we have to be talking about all types of agreements, right? Because that's the only way that a Muslim and a Christian gonna have any kind of decent marriage. That you got you 17 years into it, it ain't been no sister wives and all that stuff like that.
Oh no,
Just,
honey.
just because people, I was y'all trying to make me go church. So
Sorry.
first of all,
Sorry.
how can you be against something that you don't know about? I can say that because I was guilty for years. If you're Muslim, what we talking about? Like, when in all actuality, we believe the same things, except for they only give
Multiple
Jesus the
wives.
limit of the master prophet. They don't see him as the savior. They still don't put him above Allah. You understand what I'm saying? But their Quran runs so close to the Bible that you just have to see it to believe it. So again, how would you deal with that type of agreement if we were sitting and that's important? I think we're gonna do that.
I know pastors that are dating someone right now and they are not in
Ain't
church.
a bit of church in them.
They're not in church. So it all goes according to y'all understanding of what church is. So
Right.
if you're going to date somebody and they saying, I'm not going to church, I have an issue with that because you are church. Versus if you're dating somebody that's in like the ministry, like you said, elder, pastor, they don't have to be all of that, but you don't have to have the role, but you still need to come to church with me.
You could be a minister
Because
in the church and still marry a brother in the
right,
church. It doesn't have to be a title.
yes,
But for me, with prophets, I think that they belong with certain people, and they have to be with somebody who could handle the life of a prophet, because there are times when it could be a room full of people and the prophet is the loneliest one in the room. There are places that others may go, even as being in church, that a prophet would not go. So who's going to pull who?
is Pastor Shanae still on here? What would you say about that? I was waiting
The,
for
my
Huh?
aunt,
Pastor.
my uncle was a hypnosis, and my aunt
What?
was is a, yes, he was a hypnosis,
Somebody that
and
hypnotized them
they
kitchen.
Oh,
my
They
aunt, she's a pastor. It
hypnotized.
took a long time for her to get him to go to church, and now he's in church with her every Sunday.
he's still a hypnotist or whatever you said.
No,
Not hip modest.
he's a hypnotist.
Is what it's called, and they have power to control your mind, and so you might go in there because
That is
they
crazy.
use them for rape victims. They use it for
Yes.
um I forgot, it's two primary things, and they use them because under hypnosis, you're more liberal to give what they're looking for. There's some things, like for me, when I say I don't know any of my life, to me, my life started when I was 9 years old because I can't remember anything, which means that something traumatized me and I buried it. If I really want to get to it, I can go to a hypnotist. But the fact of being under their control is you don't know when you come out whether they still have a
Right.
signal in you that says every time a bell ring, this is what you're going to feel. Or every time somebody knock, this is what you're going to do. So yeah, they've never been a favorite of mine because they give them too much control. To me, that gives them more control than God got over me. So,
I'm glad
but
he got saved though.
yeah,
I don't know her.
you guys have been on. Did you say you had another
I was
question?
waiting for Assistant Pastor to answer
There you
Prophetess
go.
Iyaniah's
Sister
question.
Pastor. She said answer Prophetess Iyaniah question.
You want to sleep. She agrees with
Um,
me.
I mean, I don't know. I think people have to figure out for themselves. I mean, politically correct, you should be in agreement and you should have a significant other that understands, especially being the certain type of, not being deep, but as Apostle said, as a prophet, as a pastor, there's just a certain caliber that I feel needs to be established between the two. But I mean, like, you people have to figure it out on their own, I guess.
Yeah, because either way, it's not going to change the word, but it's a matter of perception. And
Yeah.
Bishop always says one person's perception is another person's reality. And so,
I
um,
think we're gonna be on the same boat. Stay single till Jesus come, cause I ain't going with nobody in
Oh,
church.
I don't know.
I ain't being with nobody in
you,
I'm
church.
not staying
That's
single till
out.
Jesus
first
come.
of all, you making that statement, God is already laughing at you because you don't have the power to determine that.
I'm telling you
Yeah,
right
out.
now, I'm
So
not
you can
staying
say what
single
you
till
want.
Jesus come.
Yeah,
You
you
can
got the
say,
you got the
I
power to
mean,
That's
change
not
that
gonna be
thing.
my testimony.
living as long as I um, have I ever found myself saying I might as well just go outside the church, like the ones outside the church come for me more than the ones, do in the church? Yeah, I had those moments, but I had to make a profound decision that knowing where God is taking me, I can't just be attached to anything because that could be my downfall.
Okay.
That could be my downfall. And I've been in this
That's
way
probably why
too
she's still
long.
waiting.
I've been here too long to let a person cost me everything.
So now you got to go back and change your prayer because that's why you're still waiting.
It's just gonna cost you, and I'm just not willing after all of this and all I've endured to wait till now to decide. Yeah, I'm gonna try this.
I'm just tell the Lord to ring the bell tonight. It's okay.
Mm.
Don't ring the bell
Stop
tonight.
playing.
Oh my!
Forgot about her marbles. Child, that is.
She's saying what some people are afraid to say. Um, and God deals with us according to
Just
our
go right
own
back there. You don't have to
transparencies
talk
about
about it.
ourselves. If some of us were to tell the truth about ourselves, we would be able to say that we're the reason why we're not with somebody.
Okay.
People want somebody who has a sound mind. People want somebody that's going to say and mean what they say and not do something different. They need somebody that's not going to change up every time something happens. Like there's so much that goes along with walking together in agreement. I don't think a
All
lot
of
of
that
people put
prayer.
that into. Yeah, yeah, that part.
But people be playing church too, so they ain't always saved.
That's the truth.
True.
So
They
where's
Behind
your
play
closed
too
discernment?
doors, a
much.
totally different person. You
And they
never
be getting
know.
ordained online and all this other stuff.
Online is crazy.
I'm getting ready
Oh,
to
a
go.
Quick to
few.
start it, Pat.
I'm getting ready to say goodnight because I see where this getting ready to go.
Not if you're behind 95.
Clock that T.
But this was good. People think that when you say matters of the heart, that you're just gonna say, "Oh, that bleeding heart." No, there are a lot of things that cause the heart to have the issue that it has. There's a reason why people have to go in and have surgery or uh, um, same day surgery procedures to open up the airways or the throughways of the heart, why they have to get catheterizations, why they have to get stents, so that the heart can continue to pump as it should. There's so many things that we go through to make sure that the heart stays in good condition. And so matters of the heart is more than just my boyfriend, my girlfriend. Matters of the heart is family hurt and trauma, relation. Like there's so many things that are engulfed in the matters of the heart. That's why he said, out of the heart flows the abundance. Out of the heart flows the issues because it is the core thing. It is the one that's going to either pump forward or get clogged. And what happens when we don't acknowledge the clog?
Good
So
to hear the bill.
you die
Yes.
because if the heart can't pump, you can't
That's
live.
it.
You can be
Jesus,
brain
that's a
dead,
word right there.
brain dead all you want. If that heart pumping,
So you say you gonna preach it?
no, I'll keep on listening to everybody else. But thank you, daughter, for signing on. I know you tired after being at two jobs, And so thank
Oh,
you
she said two
for
jobs.
2 jobs. Thank you,
Lord
Elder,
Jesus.
for being willing to come back on. Thank you, Prophetess Iyaniah, for staying
No
awake with
problem.
us and talking to us. It's gonna be in a
In
few
pain.
she's gonna be asleep again. But thank you to all the pastors, Pastor Ayers and Dom was on here for a little while, Apostle Garvin, um, Pastor Shanae. Thank you to all of you who meet us here weekly without fail and participate. That matters. Participation to know that we're not the only one talking. We're not the only one who has feelings or ideas. I thank God for my bestie at all times. Um,
Yes.
coming on when she be way tireder than me, um, and still coming on to let me know that she is pushing me and that she believes in what we're doing. I guess you guys will get the next set of questions next week. She said she wasn't going to ask them all tonight, and I'm just grateful that she is who she is in my life, and so that comes from the issues of the heart. And so we love you guys. She's going to have last words and pray us out again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't say thank you enough.
And continue to pray for Apostle Armor as she continue with this
Oh,
live.
look at you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And
Yeah.
go on with life.
Me. Thank you all for joining us tonight. I am extremely tired, but I wanted to make sure I honored my word. I tried to come on every other Wednesday with my bestie. So thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for being here and for answering questions. I want you guys to think about this. My question for next week. I will come back on next week, even though I do every other. How has your heart matured after being broken? How has your heart
Jeez.
matured after being broken? So y'all can save that till next week. Father, we thank you and we love you. We honor you and we praise you for this time tonight. We thank you, God, for matters of the heart as we continue to empower, as we continue to strengthen one another. We pray that you will be with us, God. Keep us blessed, the founder, as always. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank y'all again.
Amen.
Us, we will be leaving in the morning. We are going
Safe
to our
travels.
women's conference. We will be down there Thursday and Friday, and Saturday I will be preaching in DuPont,
Deptford,
Deptford,
Deptford.
Jersey. So we are excited, and then we will be back here at the 12 o'clock hour at the prophetic birthing room. Um, and then 4:30 in the city of Newark, New Jersey. We are excited. Thank you again all for joining us on Tuesday nights. Starting next week, I will be live at the 10 o'clock hour talking on and the two shall become one. That is the time I
Yeah.
choose because everybody's winding down. Everybody's so if you're married, if you're in a relationship, if you're thinking about marriage, if you want to be married, join me on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. All right. Have a good night, all, and be blessed.
Love y'all. Good night.
You all.
Love
Good
you. Good
night. Love
night.
y'all.
Love you.
He's still harassing her. Because she harassing him.
Hmm?